I'm going to tell you today 5 things I wish I knew before moving to Germany. Number 1, when you come to Germany, the first thing, or one of the first things, the most important things that you should do is get a driver's license. The earlier you get a driver's license, the less insurance you pay in the long term. For instance, I came as a student. I got my driver's license in my 8th year after coming to Germany. Now, if I would have gotten my driver's license within the first year, by the time I got a car, I would have had to pay only half of the car insurance that I currently pay now. So for example, now I have a fresh driver's license. It's been 2 years since I've had it. I have a car. I pay around 110 euros as insurance. Now, if I would have gotten the driver's license within my first year of coming to Germany and had gotten a car now in the 8th or 9th year, I would have paid around 55 to 60 euros. So this is why you should get your driver's license as soon as possible if you foresee in the future that you would eventually get a car. Number 2, Arbeitslosengeld. It's the money that you get if you go out of a job. Arbeitslos, jobless. If you have worked in Germany for at least 12 months in the last 30 months and have paid social contribution deductions, which in German are called Sozialversicherungspflichtiges Einkommen. If you had that in the last 12 months, you are eligible to get Arbeitslosengeld officially. What does that mean? That means that if you get fired or if you leave the job, then the German government or Agentur für Arbeit will give you 60% of your salary, net salary to you. If you have a child, then even 67%. That is by law, and you will get this for at least 1 year. It's called ALG1, Arbeitslosengeld 1. You can also read about it on ChatGPT. Yes, what's important is it is for all citizens regardless of whichever country you are from. If you live in Germany and have a valid permit, can be any permit, student permit, job search permit, etc., you are eligible for this money. Number 3, when you look for an apartment in Germany, I have personally found it easier to change my name and use an alias instead. Whether that is the case due to subtle racism that exists in the society, I have believed that if I use an alias name, which sounds more Western or white, it helps. So for instance, when I was looking for an apartment back in 2018 in Berlin, I was using my name. I applied to 100 plus places, no responses. Then I changed my alias. I only use Uzi, USI as my initials. I started getting responses. I went to some viewings and eventually got one of the apartments. The thing is, it helped when I interacted with the person face to face live. But before that, when you send a written application, Germans do tend to discriminate based on name. If your name sounds, don't want to stereotype anything, but if your name sounds something that they don't or wouldn't be fond of, they would skip you from this queue. So better to use an alias. In the end, these are the small tricks and tips and methods to get an apartment in Berlin or Germany. And if it helps, go for it. Number 4, Untätigkeitsklage, which is difficult to translate in English, but what it literally means is that action of failure to act. So if a government department fails to act on what they have promised to do, you can literally sue them. I got my citizenship by suing the state of Berlin. I had applied for my citizenship and I waited 3 months. 3 months is the official time for them to process my application and respond to me in some way, whether they deny my application or accept my application or ask for additional documents, whatever. They have to process my documents and get back to me within 3 months. If they don't do that, then I can officially sue them using a lawyer, which I did, and eventually got my citizenship in 8 to 9 months. Now, this is called Untätigkeitsklage, and this is something that was completely new to me, and I think everyone should take advantage of it because it exists in the judiciary, it exists in the law of Germany, that you can file an Untätigkeitsklage to anyone who does not do their job on time. And the last point, tax returns. Before moving to Germany, I didn't know about tax returns. After moving to Germany, I learned about tax returns. What basically it means is that you get money back from the Finanzamt or the financial authority at the end of the year when you file your tax returns. What does this mean? Why do you get this money back? The reason you get this money back is that on a monthly basis from your income, the government or the Finanzamt takes a fixed amount of tax that is due based on your salary. Now, they don't know what sort of expenses you incur when you work or whatever job that you do or whatever method you have to making this money. They don't know that. So once you declare that, look, let's say I got 20,000 income last year and I spent 5,000 euros driving to work on my car, on my laptop, and the energy that I use, electricity, etc., etc. This is the money that I spend to work for whatever company, entity, etc. And out of this 20,000, I personally spent 5,000 doing my job. What the government would do or the Finanzamt would do is then they would consider that instead of 20,000 as your income, they would reduce 5,000 and consider 15,000 as your income. Now, what they would do is that they have taken already tax from your 20,000 income and they would subtract the 5,000 from your income, and whatever tax that they took from you for those extra 5,000 that eventually you spend in expenses, they will give it back to you, and that is called tax return, and that is something that you can get from the Finanzamt. Tax returns can vary, but let's say if someone is working on average 40 hours a week and works a year and approximately earns around 50 to 60,000, technically you should get somewhere around 1,000 to 1,200 euros a year as tax return. If you found this video was helpful, please like, share and subscribe. Hoping to make many more of these. Till next time.